The classroom buzzed with chatter as students settled into their seats. A field trip to the prestigious Crestmont Academy wasn't an everyday occurrence for the students of Brookside Middle. Among them sat 12-year-old Ethan Moore, his fingers nervously tapping an imaginary piano on his desk. "Settle down, everyone," announced Ms. Rivera, their music teacher, her voice barely rising above the din. "We're guests here, so let's show our best behavior." Ethan glanced around, taking in the ornate woodwork and high ceilings of the music room. It was a stark contrast to the modest facilities back at Brookside. He felt out of place, his worn sneakers squeaking against the polished floor. "Would anyone like to try the grand piano?" asked Mr. Langston, Crestmont's music instructor, gesturing to the gleaming instrument at the front. Silence fell. Then Ms. Rivera nudged Ethan forward. "Ethan, why don't you give it a try?" Heart pounding, Ethan approached the piano. He sat, took a deep breath, and let his fingers find the keys. He began to play an original composition, a piece he'd been working on in secret. The room grew quiet, the notes weaving a tapestry of emotion, loneliness, hope, and the distant echo of his mother's humming in their small kitchen. As the final note lingered, a voice broke the silence. "Not bad, for a public school kid," sneered a student from the back. Ethan's face flushed. He returned to his seat, eyes fixed on the floor. After the session, Ms. Rivera pulled him aside. "That was incredible, Ethan. I'd like you to perform at Crestmont's closing assembly." Ethan hesitated, the memory of the student's comment still fresh. But he nodded. The day of the assembly arrived. Ethan stood backstage, hands trembling. He stepped into the spotlight and began to play a new piece, pouring his soul into every note. The audience was transfixed. Even the skeptical student from before watched in awe. After the performance, Mr. Langston approached Ethan. "We'd like to offer you a spot in our summer arts program." Ethan's eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes," Mr. Langston smiled. "Your talent deserves to be nurtured." Ethan ran home, bursting through the door. "Mom, Crestmont offered me a spot in their summer program." His mother embraced him, tears in her eyes. "I'm so proud of you." But as they celebrated, a letter slipped through the mail slot. Ethan picked it up, his name scrawled in unfamiliar handwriting. He opened it, reading the words aloud. "Congratulations on your performance. But remember, not everyone is pleased with your success. Watch your back." Ethan's hands trembled as he looked at his mother. "What does this mean?" She took the letter, her face paling. "I don't know, but we'll find out. If you're enjoying this so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us grow and lets us keep bringing you more content like this. Plus, you won't want to miss what we have coming next. Trust me, it's going to be good." The envelope was still in Ethan's lap. It hadn't moved. It hadn't vanished. The thin paper pressed against his jeans like it had weight, like it had mass. Like it wasn't just a letter, but a thing with gravity. He stared at his name, printed, not handwritten, in all capital letters. Ethan Moore. His mom's voice cut through the silence. "Well, open it." But Ethan didn't move. Something about it felt wrong. Like it shouldn't be there. Like it couldn't be. It was too soon. They hadn't even applied to Harborview. He slipped a finger under the flap and tore it open with a slow, careful motion. Inside, a single sheet of thick, cream-colored paper. The school's crest embossed in gold at the top. Beneath it, typed lines. "Mr. Ethan Moore, based on your performance at Harborview's assembly, and by special committee recommendation, you have been pre-selected for the Autumn Fellowship Program. Full scholarship. Welcome to Harborview." There was no signature, just the initials, ML. His heart thudded. Not with joy, not with excitement, but confusion. ML? Not Mrs. Langdon. Not Ms. Varela. Not anyone he knew. He looked up. His mother's expression shifted between pride and puzzlement. "That's good, right?" Ethan couldn't answer, because something didn't add up. That night, sleep didn't come. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, the letter folded beneath his pillow like it might leak secrets into his dreams. He didn't tell Ms. Varela. Not the next morning. Not even when she asked about the assembly. He only nodded and said, "It went okay." But something strange was happening. When he got to school, kids looked at him longer than usual. A few whispered. Some teachers gave him nods, like he was already someone. Already chosen. In second period, a boy he barely knew leaned over. "You're the Harborview kid, right?" Ethan blinked. "What?" "You got the letter," the boy said. "I heard you got in early." He froze. "How do you know about that?" The boy shrugged. "Everyone knows." "But how?" "Who told them?" Only his mom had seen the letter. No one else. He pulled it from his backpack during lunch and studied it again. This time, something new caught his eye, tiny type at the bottom. Please do not share the contents of this letter with anyone. Discretion is expected. He hadn't noticed that before. He checked the envelope. No return address. No phone number. No contact. Just the initials. ML. That week, things grew stranger. A woman in a dark coat stood near his school gates 3 days in a row. Never close. Just across the street. She didn't talk to anyone. Didn't watch anything except him. She was there Monday. Gone Tuesday. Then back on Wednesday. Always standing, always waiting. Like she was keeping time. Ethan didn't tell his mom. Not yet. He didn't want to worry her. She'd started smiling more since the letter. Calling family. Telling them how Ethan got into the fancy place without even applying. He didn't want to take that away, but his gut twisted more every day. On Friday, the woman was gone. Instead, someone else showed up. A man. Gray coat. Black gloves. Waiting by the gates after last bell. As Ethan stepped outside, the man approached, calm, casual, like they knew each other. "You're Ethan Moore, right?" he asked. Ethan stopped cold. "Who are you?" The man smiled, but not warmly. "You don't need to worry. I just wanted to congratulate you. Not many get invited the way you did." Ethan backed up. "Did you send the letter?" The man didn't answer. Just handed him a small card. Thick. Unmarked. One side was blank. The other side? "Your gift has purpose. Let it grow in silence." Then the man turned and left. No explanation. Gone before Ethan could say a word. That night, he showed the card to his mom. She frowned. "Where'd you get this?" He hesitated. "At school." She flipped it over. "There's no name on it." "I know." Her eyes narrowed. "Ethan, are you keeping something from me?" He opened his mouth, but the words felt dangerous. So he shook his head. She watched him for a long time, then sighed. "We'll go talk to Ms. Varela tomorrow. I want her to see that letter. It's time someone explains what's going on." They never made it. The next morning, Riverside Middle was closed. All students told to stay home. Administrative emergency, the recording said. Building maintenance. But that wasn't true, because Ethan biked past anyway. He needed to see. The school wasn't empty. 3 black sedans lined the curb. A man in a Harborview blazer stood near the front doors, talking to someone Ethan didn't recognize, someone tall and gray, with black gloves. The man from the gate. Ethan's stomach flipped. They were here. Why? Later that day, Ms. Varela called. Not on the school line. From her cell. Her voice was tight. Rushed. "Ethan, I don't know what's going on, but someone came asking about you. 2 men. Suits. Said they were from the board." "The board?" "They didn't have credentials. They said it was about your placement." He didn't answer. "Listen," she said, "don't go anywhere alone. And keep that letter safe. There's something off about all this." She hung up. And now Ethan was scared. Truly scared. That night, he woke to a sound. Not from outside. From inside the house. A floorboard creaked. He sat up. Held his breath. His mom was asleep in the next room. He crept to the door and peered into the hallway. Nothing. But on the kitchen table, the envelope. Not where he'd left it. It was open again. Someone had touched it. He picked it up, heart racing, and froze. The letter was different now. The same paper. The same formatting. But the content had changed. Now it read, "You've been seen. Do not speak of this again. You will be contacted. ML." His breath caught. It had rewritten itself. He brought the new version to Ms. Varela the next morning. She looked pale. "Ethan, this isn't normal. I didn't write this. It changed." She turned the paper over. Nothing on the back. "Where did this letter really come from?" "I told you my mom found it. No sender." She stood, walked to her desk, pulled out a folder. From it, she removed a photo. "Recognize this?" she asked. It was a group photo. Students. Teachers. Harborview's assembly. Ethan spotted himself near the piano. But something else jumped out. In the back row stood a tall man in a gray coat and black gloves. The same man. Ms. Varela circled him in red. "He's not on the guest list. No one remembers inviting him." Ethan's voice dropped. "He gave me that card." She leaned in. "This goes deeper than a scholarship." Then she opened a drawer and handed him a file. Inside, newspaper clippings. 3 stories. Mysterious program pulls talented youth from underserved schools. Anonymous committee grants early admission, no oversight. Parents report missing records after sudden enrollment shifts. Ethan stared at them, barely breathing. All connected to ML. And all the students? Musicians. Just like him. Something's happening, Ms. Varela whispered. Someone's targeting gifted kids. And no one's questioning it. Why? Ethan asked. She didn't answer. Because just then, the classroom lights flickered. Then dimmed. Then went black. The building shook. A low hum filled the air. Ms. Varela turned to the window. Outside, another black sedan. Then another. Men stepped out. Suits. Gloves. Coming toward the school. Coming for them. Run, she whispered. But it was too late. They reached the stairs. The fire door slammed shut on its own. Sealed. No alarms. No escape. Ms. Varela tried her key. Nothing. Dead. Ethan clutched the letter, heart racing. From below, the sound of footsteps. Heavy. Measured. Getting closer. Closer. Then voices. Muffled. Calm. We have the file. Take the boy. He turned to Ms. Varela. What do they want? Her reply was barely a whisper. Your music. Your memory. And something else. What? She hesitated. They think you're part of a pattern. The door behind them began to groan. A keycard beeped. Lock disengaged. Then, darkness, and the sound of someone breathing on the other side. The envelope sat like a threat. Heavy. White. Stark against the chipped kitchen counter. Ethan stared at it, the note from the recital still open beside it. We're watching, Ethan. Stop playing that piece. He hadn't told his mom. Not about the first letter. Not about the man at the school. And definitely not about the second envelope that had arrived hours ago while she was at her night shift. He just stared at it, heart pounding, until he dared to peel it open. Inside, a sheet of music. His music. Only, it wasn't exactly his. It was one of his original melodies, but twisted. Transposed. Almost corrupted. Like someone had run it through a dark filter. The notes felt wrong, off balance. It chilled him to look at it. Below the staff, just 2 words, typed in a sterile font. Obey structure. He stuffed the letter under his mattress. That night, he didn't sleep. The next day, Ethan returned to class at Dunridge Academy, the elite program that had replaced his summer arts camp. The halls gleamed. The teachers smiled too much. Every student looked like they came from a catalog. But now, Ethan noticed things he hadn't before. A door with no label in the east wing. A hallway that went nowhere, until it did. His music assignments had changed, too. Less about expression. More about precision. Structure. Obedience. A teacher, Ms. Holland, glassy-eyed and soft-spoken, had praised his technique the week before. But now, when he submitted a more emotional, improvisational piece, she frowned. This is unaligned, she said. Try the exercise again. This time, stick to the grid. He wanted to ask what grid, but her eyes warned him not to. That afternoon, he snuck back to the music room. He waited until the school emptied out, then opened the piano bench and pulled out his original piece, the one he played at the recital, the one that had stirred something, maybe too much. He began to play. The melody crept out, delicate, fractured by nerves. Each note seemed to echo into silence, like the room itself was listening. Then a shift. The piano made a strange clicking sound. Ethan paused, leaned forward. The far left panel of the upright piano was loose, almost like it had been opened before. He dug his fingers underneath the wood. Click. The panel slid away. Inside, a black recorder. A tiny red light blinked silently. They'd been recording him. He jerked back, heart hammering. That meant. The door creaked. He whipped around. A girl stood in the doorway. Maybe 14. Dark hair in tight braids, eyes like slate. You're not supposed to be in here, she said. Ethan froze. But then she stepped forward and whispered, Neither am I. Her name was Kaya. She played cello, had been in the program for over a year. She had noticed the same things, locked rooms, missing recordings, music altered after submission. They're building something, she said. Something massive. We're not writing for recitals. We're feeding something. He thought she sounded paranoid. Until she showed him the wall. She took him through a maintenance corridor, past 2 utility closets, and into a back room that smelled of dust and varnish. She lifted a tarp. Underneath, a massive corkboard, covered in photos, strings, handwritten notes. Kids. Lots of them. All with instruments. All staring into cameras. One of them was Ethan. They call it the choral array, Kaya said. Some kind of audio lattice. They collect our compositions, distort them, and upload them into a system. Ethan's skin crawled. But why? He asked. She looked at him, dead serious. To train it. That night, he confronted Ms. Varela. She was the only adult he trusted. His old teacher from Ridgemont Middle. The one who'd encouraged him to perform at Harborview. She hesitated at first. Then she shut the blinds and spoke low. I wasn't supposed to say anything, she said. But yes, the program is bigger than we were told. She explained that the art scholarship wasn't just about nurturing gifted students. It had been repurposed. An experimental think tank, funded by a tech consortium, was using music as an interface. They believed certain emotional frequencies could be used to bridge consciousness, to train artificial systems to feel, empathize. Ethan could barely process it. You're saying they're teaching something to feel using our music? Yes, she whispered. And the ones who play with more soul, more unpredictability, are watched more closely. He stood up. Then I'm quitting. Ms. Varela shook her head. You don't understand. You're in too deep. They won't let you. The next morning, Ethan's mother received a call. He was missing. He hadn't returned home after school. Ethan woke up in a room with no windows. Just a chair, a keyboard, and an overhead mic. A voice crackled through a speaker. Play the melody from your audition. His mouth was dry. I want to go home. Silence. Then, play. He touched the keys. Familiar notes spilled out. His original song. But something about the room made each note sound sterile, hollow. Again, the voice said. This time no deviations. He stopped. I'm not a machine, he said, louder this time. A pause. Then the wall to his left slid open. A man stepped in. Early 40s. Thin, elegant. Wearing the same badge as the man from the recital. You're right, the man said. You're not a machine. You're the key. The man's name was Dr. Nayland, a former composer turned researcher. He told Ethan the truth, at least some of it. The choral array was part of a classified project known as Sonorous. Its goal, to create emotional intelligence in artificial systems using real-time emotional data. Not code, not simulations. Music, Dr. Nayland said, is the most honest map of human emotion. It bypasses the intellect. It cuts straight to the soul. And Ethan? His compositions triggered something unique. A pattern that AI couldn't replicate, but could respond to. His songs made it feel. You're helping us reach the next stage of evolution, Nayland said. I didn't agree to this, Ethan whispered. Nayland just smiled. Does it matter? Kaya had a plan. She found him during a group improvisation lab, her fingers signing rapid notes as she leaned across her cello. They're archiving the compositions through a master server in the basement, she whispered. I found the access code. If we can delete our patterns, they lose everything. They needed a distraction. Ethan agreed to play at the school's live-streamed winter showcase. It would be his final piece, but not the one they expected. The showcase was packed. Parents, teachers, dignitaries. Ethan walked onto the stage with a blank expression. Inside, his chest was thunder. The mic turned red. Recording. He sat, closed his eyes, and began to play. Not the corrupted piece. Not the approved arrangement. He played his music, the real version. It bled out of him, anguish, defiance, hope. The truth. The system tried to filter it, autocorrect it, but he played harder. Strings snapped. The soundboard glitched. In the basement, Kaya hit execute. Lines of data vanished. The choral array collapsed. Later, they were gone. No more shadow letters. No more secret recordings. Dunridge shut down its experimental program without explanation. Ethan returned to Ridgemont. Quiet. Different. He still played, but only when he chose. Ms. Varela said nothing, but she knew. So did Kaya, who sent him a postcard from another state. On the back, a single measure of a new song. He smiled, then went to the piano.